So, dear Aries, Mars is your ruler. So you have to be mostly careful around the dates when Mars turns direction of movement, because then the planet is stationary, it barely moves, and it might bring you some additional tension, irritation, frustrations, unnecessary fights, or on the other hand, a lack of energy, tiredness, and scattered mind. Those days are, of course, 30th of October this year and 12th of January next year. For those 2 months and a half while Mars is retrograde, again, you might feel lack of motivation, ambitions, you might rethink, reassess your goals. Does the goal justify the efforts? You might kind of back off from some plans you've been too passionate previously. So reassessing and reevaluation of your actions. You have it would be the time for second chances. So you might come back to some plan that you dropped some time ago and now reignited, restart some initiations, projects, relationships, and maybe you have the chance also to repair, to fix something you've started, but you did in a rush, and it's now clear that it's not as solid and strong as you would like it to be. Mars will be retrograding in your third house. So we're talking about initially, while Mars moves direct through Gemini, about a lot of communication, information, courses, running around the neighborhood, meeting people, social activity, traveling, maybe considering a vehicle, buying, selling, or repairing one. And now, while Mars is retrograde, you truly have the chance to repair the vehicle, to maybe slow down and truly commit to help your community, your neighbors, your siblings, your relatives, cousins, and so on. Of course, there might be some old fights and tension reappearing with these people, but it all just comes to the surface, so you can deal with it once and for all. Mars retrograde in the third house can bring back into your life some familiar people from the past, like colleagues, like former classmates, like neighbors. You might go back to some old neighborhood. I would advise you to be thoughtful and careful with speeds, with cars, vehicles, overall means of transportation. Maybe you're really given a time to check them and to make some repairments. Besides this, Mars, of course, rules your first house and 8 houses. So coming back to some physical activity, sport, exercises. And 8th house, maybe there will be a need to double your efforts regarding some passive income, like asking for a loan, for a credit, for a mortgage, or fighting for your money from your business to be given to you, or fighting for inheritance, or fighting against some tax institutions. So here it's very good if you are very thorough and precise with your budget, and you also need to give back to people what you owe them, what you have borrowed. Some old passion can be reignited with intimate partner from the past. And maybe a passion towards esoteric studies or studying the occult or psychology. Maybe you will visit again your psychologist. You can experience some transformation of your body or of your mindset and psychology. It's a great time to get rid of bad habits, of fears, phobias, traumas, and anything psychologically that holds you back. Also, regarding third house, if you do some media activity, if you do some trading online, if you handle websites, vlogs, then Mars gives you the chance to repair some of these things to make them better, make them work properly, attract more visitors, viewers, and clients. You might need to fight more for those online or media or logistic businesses that you have, or things might slow down in them. And yeah, possibly there will be some criticism towards you online, so don't pay attention to haters in the social medias. Also, you mind your tongue, mind your language, because you might offend someone by too sharp self-expression. And third house, last but not least, is about our mental processes, dialogues externally and monologues internally. So you have the chance here to fix if you have any propensity to talk down to yourself, to criticize yourself, self-criticism, to doubt yourself, and all those negative or angry, aggressive thoughts. You might now have the chance to work with them so they don't poison your life anymore. Dear Taurus, Mars will be retrograding in your second house. We're talking about the area of work and budget, income, and also spendings, as well as how do you treat your body, how do you nourish yourself, what do you buy, what do you buy for, you know, physical pleasure, like clothes, like furniture, like good food. How do you indulge yourself? And also, of course, it's the area of your self-esteem. So while Mars goes direct through Gemini, through your second house, there might be a lot of activity at work, several projects. You might get so tired from this multitasking. You might fight for your salary, for your income. You might spend very impulsively. But while Mars will be retrograding for 2.5 months, you actually have the chance to reevaluate whether what you do professionally or what you do for money basically is what is your true passion, is what truly inspires you. Is it worth fighting? Is it worth all the effort and action? Maybe you will go back to some old work, or you will need to finish or fix some work project from the past. You might have the chance to express yourself verbally, because second house also is about our voice and how people can hear us. So retrograde Mars can submerge you in situations in which before you missed the chance to clearly, openly, assertively share your thoughts, ideas, and wishes with others. And now you can do it, especially if we talk about professional area where you maybe have to fight for better conditions and better salary. Second house as the house of eating might return you back while Mars is retrograde to old familiar for you diet regime. You might feel again like eating something more spicy. About spendings, you might reassess your budget as well, and maybe you will have to fix something that you've bought, like for instance some clothing that doesn't fit you, so you will resew it or bring it to people who can do it, to an atelier. Or maybe you bought just like a couch or some piece of furniture which now needs some bit of fixing and repair. Great time to focus this Marsian energy into DIY, do it yourself, something at home with your hands, maybe creating something beautiful, use some tools. And of course, Mars gives you the chance to reevaluate your value system was the most important for you? What is your order of priorities in life? So really, in what you should invest your energy, whether it's more into your health, into your career, whether it's to relocate or leave home with your family, who is more like important for you. And basically, always of most importance must be you yourself and your own worldview and desires. So here Mars can stimulate and boost your self-esteem. Maybe you'll find some coaching and courses online, motivational speakers or books, which can help you find and practice self-respect and self-love. Mars rules your 12th and 7th houses, so there might be slowing down or stagnation in relationships. Maybe old partners will come back into your life. There might be some fights and arguments with partners, but they resurface. They're not something new, and they resurface in order for you to deal with them and to clear the air once and for all. You know, so there is no elephant in the room with your partners, whether personal or business ones. And 12th house is about work in isolation, whether in a home office at home or some quiet secretive projects or working online for an international corporation. 12th house might be about relocation, emigration, faraway journeys and travel. So maybe these plans can require double the effort during Mars retrograde, like collecting documents, dealing with embassies, needing visas, and so on. So here, either like frozen for a time being, or double efforts. Dear Gemini, for you, Mars is retrograding in your first house of body, of health, of environment in which you are living. And of course, this is correlating to you in relation to others. So while Mars moves direct through your sign from the end of August, September, October, then in the spring next year, you might feel like a Duracell bunny, super motivated, super ambitious, with a lot of energy, like the god Shiva with his many hands, like torn apart between so many projects, people, relationships, meetings, information, and so on. That's a great time to be proactive, to exercise, to do some sport. But don't forget to ground yourself and to breathe. And also try to be focused on just few important projects. Build your list of priorities. But while Mars will be retrograding, it might come the opposite time of lack of energy, lack of motivation and ambition, doubts. But it's a great time to turn back and to see what have you achieved so far, what projects have you started, so many of them, and you should basically maybe repair, fix some of them that are maybe finish at least one of the things you are handling at the moment. So quality, not quantity, might be for you the words for this Mars retrograde in your first house. On the other hand, for some of the projects that were going smoothly and quickly direct while Mars was direct, now it can be the time to put 3 times more efforts, because while a planet is retrograding, especially Mars, who is about actions, now it's more about, you know, the steps of waltzing. 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. So, you know, and it's beautiful. At the end of the day, it's a dance, but you have to constantly reassess and reevaluate your actions. Are they kind of worthy? And are you judging the situation properly? And Mars rules your 6th and 11th houses. So in those areas of life can be also a bit of stagnation or a bit of tension, depends. 6th house is work and health. Once again, health. You see how important here is to keep in touch with your body, not overwhelm it, but still do some nice exercises, ground yourself, avoid stress and chaos in order not to get hurt in accident. Maybe go back to some familiar already clinic, doctors, diet, get rid of bad habits. That's great time for second chance for this. And work-wise, maybe you'll have to go back to some work projects that you have to fix and finish, or you go back to a familiar office and colleagues or employees. And 11th house friends, there might be either cooling in your relationship with your like-minded people, your tribe. There might be some arguments to solve, and don't be afraid of situations in which you have to be confronted or confront others who are your friends. It's just to kind of deal with it once and for all and to eliminate the elephant from the room, you know, so kind of not keep inside some uncomfortable truth or anger. At the same time, you really might be reevaluating your personal and professional goals, aspirations, and dreams. And possibly for some of you, you might need to wait or to fight for payment for your professional activities. Dear Cancer, for you, Mars will be retrograding in your 12th house. Well, while Mars goes direct through Gemini, it can be a lot of inner tension, a lot of inner motivation and drive to do something, but maybe you're not entirely sure what exactly, because the 12th house is the hidden place, is the blind spot for us. It's the place of dreams and memories. So maybe you will be remembering something violent from the past, something agitating you from the past. Maybe you will be dealing with internal issues like fears, traumas, bad habits. Mars can give you power in this, but efforts will be doubled while Mars is moving retrograde, because not everything goes so smooth directly. So maybe you'll go back to your therapist or psychologist, guru, a person who can help you fight with your internal issues and release yourself from bondings from the past, especially what concerns anger issues, hidden anger, hidden frustration, not knowing why you are angry, blowing up suddenly, piling up anger inside of you. And be more assertive, wisely assertive, right? Respecting your opponents, but speaking your truth. A 12th house is also any sort of work projects we do in isolation or secretly, or let's say something like home office or working in a hospital or somewhere abroad on an island, or online projects, right, with some international company. So in this case, maybe there will be some issues you will have to fix, deal with, or fight for during this Mars retrograde with someone from faraway lands. Or if you're planning emigration, relocation, then again, double the effort here, maybe to collect some papers, documents, deal with embassies, language courses, and so on. It's great time to relax, to give yourself to do more inner work, rather to be super proactively in the society. That will happen when Mars will move into your first house. And Mars rules your 5th and 10th houses, so there might be some delays or obstacles to deal with during those 2 months and a half in a field of your business or work, generally career and profession. Maybe you will be asserting yourself, and there will be the need to be visible and heard, even through conflicts with your superiors, with someone from the government, with someone of authority for you, or even with a parent or children. Yeah, 10th house is a father, 5th house are our children. So maybe you will be dealing with some issues and confrontations with children or with a loved one, your romantic partner. Maybe an old passion will be reignited, or maybe some people will be cut off from your life. 5th house is about hobbies as well. So Mars retrograde can return you back to some old favorite activity. It might be Martian type, like building something, repairing something more technical. Maybe you like martial arts, or it can be working with fire, craftsmanship, and DIY, do it yourself at home. Dear Leos, for you, Mars will be retrograding in your 11th house. Well, this planet moved straight ahead through Gemini. You probably felt overwhelmed with social contacts, with internet activities, meeting with friends, participating in group projects, whether as work or as hobbies. But retrograding Mars is way slower, of course, and either we lose motivation, passion, and ambitions, or we have to confront someone and have arguments, in this case, with friends. People from the past might reappear in your life. Or, of course, you will have to put double effort, triple effort even, in your group projects that you do with someone else. Or maybe you are reminded about some old activity, project, passion that you had before with others and you somehow dropped in the past. So now you can reignite it. About the fights with friends, don't worry, because sometimes there is just an elephant in the room and people have to deal with some hidden grudges or anger, discomfort. They just have to confront the others. And in Gemini, it happens, of course, verbally. So maybe you just need to sit down and talk it through with your colleagues or friends or collaborators in order to be clear with each other and to reach some consensus together. 11th house is also the house of our dreams, hopes, and wishes and goals for the future. So here Mars might make you reassess, rethink those, reevaluate in which areas of life is worth introducing so much energy and efforts and fight for, and which goals are not worth your time and your ambitions, hopes, and motivations. Unfortunately, for some people who deal with online business, Mars retrograde might mean less visitors in your website, less clients, followers, or people who would be a bit more critical and aggressive, basically online bullying. So we have to be careful with this and try to avoid it and be reasonable with it and not get involved into quarrels online with people you don't even know. This is truly just waste of energy. Mars rules your 4th and 9th houses. So during this retrogradation period, there might be coming back to an old home, meeting with family, dealing with some old family issues, confronting your parents, putting double the effort into property, selling, buying, repairing. And 9th house will probably slow down or cool off your relationships with someone from abroad, with some authority figures in your life, someone who inspires you. Maybe you will go back into teaching or publishing if you tried it once, but you haven't finished your degree, for instance. So you can go back into studies and graduating. You can go back to familiar countries abroad that you have been already. Maybe once again, you will be confronted with governmental institutions and representatives of institutions, meeting with someone from the past who was your guru or teacher. And if you're dealing with paperwork, documents, travel plans, and so on, so here there might be delays and need to be very assertive and, you know, fight for your cause. And most of all, you might be bullied, or you will have to defend your worldview, your knowledge, your ideology, your beliefs, and your religion. If not fighting and asserting them or defending them, then might be that you will be fixing them and changing them. Especially we might think of frustration, anger, grudges, fear of presenting something in front of a public, phobias of flying, anything that holds you back and comes from your internal convictions and beliefs now can be fixed, and negativity can be cut off, eliminated once and for all. Dear Virgos, for you, Mars will be retrograding through your 10th house. While this planet was moving direct through Gemini, maybe there was so much action going on at work, in professional field. Maybe there were fights for a higher position. Maybe there were confrontations with bosses, with authority figures, with parent, with someone from the government. Maybe you were fighting for some work position, or you were, you know, cutting, burning bridges with the old work. Of course, that might all bring to a burnout. And now, while Mars will be retrograde for 2.5 months, you have the chance to relax, to get yourself together, to regroup, so to say, to search for information online, apply for other positions, get a course to improve your knowledge and skills and be better prepared for next interview, reassess your goals and plans for future development, what you aspire to achieve in this life, to leave as a legacy. You might plan, you might build strategies. Virgos, you generally don't like to be impulsive, like Mars in Gemini is, and scattered through so many projects. So it's good for you to organize yourself and come up with a step-by-step, thorough plan of action to achieve great professional heights. Maybe your employees will see you as a very fighty, assertive, aggressive boss or leader. Receiving some awards, recognitions might be a bit delayed throughout Mars retrograde, or the ones who were long overdue will finally come to you through these 2 months. 10th house is also status, so whether we are married or divorced, whether we live at home or we are expats abroad, our surname, our financial status as well, how other people perceive us. So here something might change, something might be cut off by Mars. So for instance, that might mean long overdue divorce for some of your separation from a family, maybe moving abroad due to job. Mars rules your 3rd and 8th houses, so there might be efforts put into documents, communication, travels, vehicles, or online business if you have such, online trading, blogging, and so on. But criticism might come really from online community as well. And 8th house, you might be waiting for or fighting for inheritances, for loans, for mortgages, for credits, fighting against banks, against financial institutions overall. Great time to return your debt, to return what you owe to others, business partners, people in your life, family, and so on. IRS in the United States. But of course, for Virgos who are, let's say, in a family business, then maybe you get back to it and you put triple efforts into building up a business online, for instance. You might need to go back to studies, finish some studies in order to get better financially. 8th house might mean that you will be your passion to some occult or astrology, tarot, something esoteric or psychological can be reignited. You might get back to your old therapist, or some old passion from the past, intimate partner might return into your life. Dear Libras, for you, Mars goes retrograde in your 9th house. Well, while this planet was moving direct through Gemini, you might have been very passionate about foreign lands, explorations, adventures, travels. On the other hand, maybe you are dealing now with a court case, court trial, where you have to be proactive, assertive, and either defending yourself or attacking some enemy. 9th house can talk about education, publishing, being on the spotlight, being a teacher, mentor, guide for others. So maybe that's what you have been doing with such a passion and investing so much energy into all of this. But of course, this all can bring burnout as well and oversaturation. So while Mars is retrograde, you might just return back home or study online, or just prepare your master thesis quietly, isolated, alone. Maybe you will lose motivation to travel so much or to date this person from abroad, or maybe you will go back to some international business company. While Mars is direct in 9th house, we want to assert our opinion onto others. We want the world to hear us. While when it's retrograde, we might be more shy, uncertain, or criticized because of our beliefs, our worldviews, our ethnicity, our faith. All of this can be topics to defend against someone. Of course, Mars retrograde in the 9th house might bring you back to some court cases which you have to finish, or the case is reopened again, or you can do the appeal and basically state that you don't agree with the decision of the judge and you want to take it to the appeal court. You might go back to some country that you already have visited in the past. There might be some conflicts with authorities, with people in the law department, with teachers, or there might be meeting with some people from your past who used to inspire you, mentors, teachers, gurus, some celebrities, stars. Mars rules your 7th and 2nd houses. So delays, freezing might appear for those 2 months and a half regarding your relationships and work and money. Either you go back to some old deals, old clients, people from the past reappear in your life, work projects from the past, maybe some money that has been owned to you is finally paid to you. But if not, there might be just a bit of stagnation. While Mars is retrograde, use this time to reevaluate your relationships, your goals for the future, your desires to study or to travel, your faith, religion, maybe your moral code and worldview. You can fix and reassess all of this, as well as, of course, your work situation, budget, and self-esteem. Dear Scorpios, first thing first, Mars is your ruler. So be more careful, more caring for yourself, for your body, for your health in those 2 dates while the planet turns direction, because then it's not moving, it's stopped. So you might feel more confused, more frustrated, more intense. Arguments might be started without any obvious reason. Multitasking might exhaust you and tire you. And we're talking about the 30th of October and then 12th of January 2023. While the planet is retrograde in between those 2 dates for 2 months and a half, you might be again with less motivation, more tired, a bit more confused, but it's a great time to relax, to give yourself time to plan, to strategize, to research. This is all what Scorpio Mars loves to do, yeah? Your ruler, Scorpio. It's not the time to be as Aries, proactive and pushy. It's more like waiting, observing, building a strategy, being more tactical, yeah, building the tactics in your life, planning, fixing something, yeah, maybe you're giving second chance to restart something, to fix it, to repair something. Now Mars will be retrograding in your 8th house. Again, very familiar topics for you because you rule classically the 8th house of the 8th sign of the zodiac is Scorpio. So the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio. We're talking about some old passion might be reignited. Some intimate partner from the past might come to you in those 2 months. Maybe your passion about psychology, astrology, esoteric sciences, occult things might come back to you, or you have the chance to finish some courses or go back to your therapist, because 8th house is a house of crisis situations. So now maybe you will be giving a chance to relax a bit from all the hustle and bustle and crisis storms around you, or quite the opposite. Maybe now some of these situations will become very stubborn and you'll have to put like 2 or 3 times more the effort to overcome some issues. So here it's important to be wise and to decide which goals of yours are truly worth fighting for and investing time and hopes and passion, and which are just better to simply ignore and be raise above them. 8th house can mean inheritances, loans, mortgages, all the money that come to us and are not made from our work. So while Mars is retrograde, that might mean delays or additional efforts in those areas, revision, let's say, of your budget, of your business. Your partner might reassess their income. Maybe you will be fighting for alimony if you are in the process of divorce now, but things will go way better and smoother once again after the 12th of January, when Mars will get again direct your planet. Great time to dive into your inner world, and especially your shadow. I know, Scorpios, you're not afraid of this. In the shadow lies a big potential, but the shadow is painful, of course, because those are our fears, phobias, traumas, the grudges we hold, the offenses we have against someone who hurt us in the past. So now you can do the alchemy process of digging in, being brave like Mars is, and basically understanding those things, maybe with the help of a specialist like astrologer or psychologist or tarologist, a shaman, and basically heal yourself. Yes, Mars is like a knife in a medical intervention, in an operation, the scalpel. So it cuts clean something that is rotten, something that is sick, in order to remove it and to heal it. Maybe even some operations for some Scorpios might be due here, especially if you did some operation before, it didn't help, and now you have the second chance to repair it, to fix it. But what you can metaphorically cut off are all those negative things that are actually your own inner demons and obstacles to your own happiness and success, because those might be feelings of guilt, of shame, inadequacy, and so on. Now, Mars rules your first and sixth houses. So we're talking indeed about topics of health, body, and work. So great chance really to cut off bad habits, even physically, like smoking, for example. Go back to some exercises you were enjoying before. Maybe restart your Tai Chi lessons, your yoga classes, maybe dancing, maybe climbing, wherever you like, but being physical active, but being also very careful with your body, not to overwhelm yourself and cause accidents. Sixth house can talk also about work and things we need to fix and repair indeed, whether at home, vehicle, or help our siblings or family. So here, either you will have a time out if you are constantly helping everyone else and you start feeling like a victim or a savior, and then you become aggressive because no one appreciates your help. Stop this game, right, between these three obsessive roles. It's important first to fix yourself and your life, and then already ask people whether they need help, but be very discerning of who truly needs help and who is just like being a bit lazy and using more skilled people to do the job instead of them. So great time for detoxification, losing weight, sharing some secret information in order to relieve yourself from secrets. Be strategic, research, dig deep, release, purge, fix some issues, fix some old work projects, clean your life, right? It's a great time, those 2 months, to clean your life from anything negative or piled up physically or emotionally. And then already once Mars goes direct, everything will move way better and smoother for you. Dear Sagittarius, for you, Mars will be retrograding in your 7th house. So we're talking about people with whom you communicate closely, partners or business partners, clients as well. And while Mars was moving direct and quick, fast through Gemini, maybe there were so many meetings, relationships, passion, maybe even fights and arguments with people. 7th house talks about court cases and open enemies. So there was some activity with others, maybe very passionate advisors you had, or you were constantly visiting counselors, or you were counseling others with passion and dedication and motivation. But now, while Mars will be retrograde for 2.5 months in your 7th house, you know, things might cool off. The passion with your spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend might be a bit cooling off. Maybe the person will go abroad, or physically you will be a bit more distanced. Maybe, on the other hand, you will have to address some issues related to anger, to grudges, you know, kind of the elephant in the room must be addressed in order to cut it clean and basically heal the relationship. Someone from the past might be coming to your life again, personally or in a professional sense. There might be stagnation, delays with signing papers, documents, deals. In any case, it's not recommendable with Mars in your 7th house to jump into new partnerships and, you know, signing new contracts. But you can release yourself from old agreements cut old contracts, just tear them apart, burn them, basically, or of course, renegotiate the conditions and be more proactive and assertive, even though maybe as Mars is not in your first house, but rather in your seventh house, your partners now show themselves as a bit more pushy, while Mars was direct. But while Mars is retrograde, they might become a bit more stubborn, actually. Besides this, Mars rules your 12th and 5th houses. So those areas of life can be also a bit frozen, delayed, or there might need to be more effort into them. 12th house can be all projects you do in isolation, like online work or working in a hospital. Maybe you are dealing with some kind of a health or psychological issues and you need to revisit your therapist or spiritual guru. 5th house can be stagnation, or more efforts must be put into your business to develop your business or to develop your relationship with your children or your romantic partner. Again, someone from the past can reappear, old passion can be reignited. Maybe you're preparing to have children. Maybe you need to address some issues from the past with your children. Someone is offended with someone and you have to confront this situation with these people in order to just clean it once and for all. Of course, Mars retrograde means that you can finish something. So you can finish a court case, you can finish a relocation and immigration process. Or on the other hand, you will be stuck with dealing with documents, papers, embassies, visas, and so on. You might finish a business project or a hobby. You might remember about some old hobby from the past. You can, by the way, use this Mars retrograde to rather face and settle arguments and conflicts in a more productive and healthy way. And most importantly, of course, don't hold in any anger and frustration. Now it's time to deal with those secret ones indeed. Dear Capricorn, for you, Mars will be retrograding in your 6th house. So while Mars was moving direct through Gemini, maybe you were like this god Shiva with multiple hands, dealing with so many projects and things at work, hiring employees, or arguing or settling arguments and discontent amongst your colleagues and employees, repairing the office or choosing a new office, helping people around you, doing repairs at home, repairing your car, because 6th house is fixing problems and unbalanced situation, dealing with enemies even maybe, dealing with your health very proactively. But those 2 months and a half that Mars will be going backwards, either things will slow down in those areas, so you will have more chance to relax because probably you are quite exhausted and burned out already. Or maybe you'll have to go back to some old work projects that you did too quickly in a haste, and now they need more focus and fixing them, repairing them. Maybe you need to fix and repair your health. If you've been running around like a Duracell rabbit bunny on batteries, and now the battery is low on power, so you have the time to relax, to take some healthy procedures, spa, massages, acupuncture, medicine, going back to some yoga exercises, fitness, training, but carefully, not to overstretch yourself and cause some accidents. Do some blood exams again. If you had an operation and it didn't go well, now you have the second chance for a second one. More efforts into home repairment, more efforts into fixing things, helping people who are close and dear to you. Or on the other hand, you just lift your hands and you say, guys, time off, do it yourself. I taught you how to do it, and now I need to relax and take care a bit more of myself. Great time to detox, to remove something even surgically from your body. Maybe going back to some old work projects. Mars also rules your 4th and 11th houses. So the delay might be affecting as well your family affairs, family business, business related to real estate, if we talk about this. Maybe you will have to confront your parent, your mother especially. There might be some tension and arguments at home, but you have the chance to take it out on the surface, you know, this elephant in the room, and to deal with it and to settle all those disagreements once and for all. Maybe you will go back to your family, to your home. Maybe you will need to truly do something at home manually, like do it yourself. DIY would be great time and great use of this Martian energy. And 11th house, your friends, your like-minded people, but now there might be either conflicts with them or some cooling off with them. Maybe you won't be able to see them for 2 months or so. If you're dealing with online activities, working in a corporation or having a blog, a vlog online, then you have the chance to fix your website. Maybe less people will be joining you as followers. There might be some haters online. Yeah, Mars is sharp, Gemini is language, and 11th house is the internet or the group of people. So there might be some discussions, arguments, but again, if held wisely, then the truth can appear in an argument, actually. And you might understand who are your true friends and with whom you should continue building something, and which team probably it's better to leave. Also, 11th house is salary. So you might need to wait a bit to receive your salary or fight for it, or recognitions or bonuses from work. On the other hand, if you've been waiting for a long time, now Mars can finally give you the deserved work acknowledgements and money. And 11th house is our goals, dreams, wishes, aspirations. So now you might be reassessing those, what you truly desire to what you have to, on what you have to focus, because there are so many things around you distracting you, but the energy must be focused on the top priority things. And maybe you will be building a strategy of how to achieve your dreams or building new goals, setting yourself new goals. Dear Aquarius, for you, Mars will be retrograding in your 5th house. We're talking about lovers, about children, hobby, business for some of you, your own business. Well, while Mars moves direct through Gemini, that's a lot of passion, that's a lot of romance, that's a lot of meetings, that's a lot of fun activity together, parties, sport, competitions with your kids, with your loved one, for them. Maybe you are fighting with the rivals for your loved one. That's all right. Also a lot of passion into your hobby and business. But while Mars will be retrograde for 2.5 months, all those things can slow down and cool off. So the passion can cool off. Maybe you need to decide with which partner you will stay in the long run, who offers you the true things you need in relationships, and who was just flickering passion for a time being. Maybe you're getting back to the thought of having children, but it needs also some certain preparation financially and physically, as health-wise. Some old love from the past can reappear in your life. You might need to deal with anger issues or some issues, frustrations with those people, with your partners, with your kids. Remove the elephant from the room, settle the arguments once and for all. You might get back to some old hobby that you dropped some time ago, and now you are re-inspired to do it again. Or fixing something in your business so that things can go better, or plan do plans, strategize for your business for when Mars will be direct again around the 12th of January. Mars also rules your 3rd and 10th houses. So truly here, it's good to be patient with your career, with your professional goals, prepare yourself, maybe study, take some courses, research the job market. There might be some tension or frustration due to your bosses, employers, maybe arguments with your parents. Great time to fix your connection with your siblings, to fix your vehicle, to fix relations with your neighbors, or to do some common projects together, like building something, painting some fences in your neighborhood. But other than that, maybe if your business is related to media, something online, then there might be frustration or delays or need to put more effort into things like trading online, marketing, PR campaigns, unless repeated, so like second chance to do them better this time. Unless this, I would leave the completely new business ventures for when Mars turns direct again after the 12th of January. Dear Pisces, for you, Mars will be retrograding in your 4th house. While Mars moves direct, of course, there is a lot of energy, hustle and bustle, activities with your parents, with your family. It's about your home. It's about reconstructing, moving something, building something, or destroying some walls in order to erect new ones. Relocation, home business, business related to property, even vehicles as well. Well, but when Mars is retrograde, so there is either like stagnation in those topics. Suddenly the workers leave and you have to wait for them to return for 2 months, or you repaired your home, but now you look around and you actually don't like the colors or the positions of the furniture and kitchen and so on, and you need to repair it once again. You might find better workers this time if you were disappointed by the first attempt, but I would not start any things related to home or relocation or family during this retrogradation unless it's a second attempt. There you will have to probably face arguments and some spicy topics and issues with your family members, something that might provoke arguments and scandals, but you have to kind of deal with it, and in order to settle it. Maybe there will be fights with family members for property. Well, work from home can be possible, home office. So maybe you will be rearranging one of your rooms as for a home office. If you have been bottling down some anger, because 4th house is our internal world, inner world that we don't share with anyone else, is the world of our emotions, inner thoughts, things from the past, patterns of behavior from childhood, as what we learned from parents. So here Mars can be rebellious against those things. Here Mars can stir the pot and basically make you separate from family, from parents, from those models and patterns and convictions, like, about family, about love, life, about business and money, how much you deserve, and so on. Mars rules your 2nd and 9th houses, so those topics also might slow down while it's retrograde. So we're talking about money, work, belongings, spending, buying something, purchases. And 9th house is relocation, it's travel, it's moving around, it's teaching, publishing, studying, sharing your opinion, being in front of a public, being recognized as an expert, being a mentor, inspiring people, or inspiring others. Or 9th house is are those people who inspire us and teach us. So here you might meet some old teachers, celebrities that you used to love, idols, gurus, or you go back to university to study and you will be studying online from home. Maybe you decide to relocate. You were an expat and now you will be moving back home for some time. In any case, don't take any rush decisions while Mars is retrograde, because then you might change your mind. But maybe you are repairing your home instead of in order to rent it, and with the rent, just use it to go abroad and settle somewhere new. There might be reignited some court cases while Mars is retrograde, something to finish off finally. And you might need to kind of, fight for or defend your worldview, your moral code, your belief system, your faith. So it might be defending it, let's say in the 4th house, in front of your grandparents, or someone from, the little town where you were born. Well, my dear friends, that was the forecast for all signs for the upcoming Mars retrograde. I wish you this period to be actually pleasant and efficient. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.